Time for another What Lies Below devlog. Today we're going to be talking about the first level and a variety of enemies. Let's just get straight into it. First up is Flint. He starts out by shooting standard projectiles that do a large chunk of damage if they collide with the player. These projectiles make him fairly similar to Gunther from the first Void Collector, but he has a fairly major structural change. Compare what happens when you shoot Gunther. He gets ready to attack, takes damage, and then attacks anyways. In What Lies Below, dealing damage to an enemy resets them to a neutral state. What this means is that you can infinitely stall enemies by attacking before they do. This makes enemies easier to deal with in a one-on-one situation, which will certainly come in handy with how much more chaotic enemies can be in this game. An example of this chaos is Flint's secondary attack, the Landmine. He chucks these things out pretty quick, and they deal a lot of damage to friend or foe alike. That's right, mines hit enemies as well. This highlights another critical gameplay decision, and that's the focus on friendly fire. Void Collector had this enemy named Steve Strike, and he was my personal favorite enemy to fight. Not that he was very hard to deal with, but he placed timed bombs to the player's feet that could hit enemies or be used for movement. This inspired me to lean further into enemies being able to directly benefit the player. Next up is Blunder, a shotgun-toting enemy who fires in a wide spray. If you attack him during his ready state, he turns into a ball and bowls through anything in his path. Use this to your advantage to clear up some space. Now for the first brand new enemy, Crow. He's functionally similar to the aforementioned Steve Strike, but instead of placing one bomb every few seconds... Yeah, so I may have gone a little too far here. The idea with adding Steve was to force the player to stay on the move, but the bombs he placed were fairly easy to avoid. Good luck dodging all these, idiot. In my testing, any combat encounter with Crow in it turns into a complete mess. A fun mess, but still a mess. Adding this guy is a good way to gauge how much chaos is fun and how much is too much. Still figuring that part out. Next up is the Big Brass, a dude with a punch so powerful it drags him along with it. His Void Collector alternative is Slapmo, a melee enemy who runs down the player at all times. The hope with the punch attack is to capture a similarly aggressive vibe, but curve back on the slightly inconsistent behavior of Slapmo and make the movement of the enemy feel more in control of the player. You can use his punches to either hit other enemies, fling himself off a ledge, or straight into a bomb if you feel like it. That's it for the currently complete enemies, but I've got some more stuff to show. Here's how the first stage, Cool Zone Beach Resort, is currently looking. So compared to the first level of Void Collector, it is quite the change in art style. For one, there is lighting now. While I like the flat, unlit, thick outline look of the first game, I wanted to experiment with lights to help create greater atmosphere and depth. Another big change here is how props work. In the first game, most props were 2D sprites, but many more of them are fully 3D this time around. On top of that, a lot of them are built around splines. A spline is a line in 3D space that a model can follow. For example, this water slide prop is a very simplistic model that just follows a line and can be easily manipulated as I need. Speaking of the water slides, these actually work. Holding control while on one will propel you down the slide and splash into the pools of water below. The water will also pull you up to the top, so in parts like this you can take the slide momentum, bounce out of the pool, and really go flying. Back onto the visuals, I've been hard at work trying to get the atmosphere down this time around. I'm especially happy with how the pools look. The top layer is a simple water texture that helps with the aquatic ambience. The biggest contributor, however, is a separate water texture that scrolls constantly on the bottom of the pool. This creates a nice reflective effect that really sells that it is a swimming pool. This type of motion also helps prevent it from feeling too static in the same way a lot of levels from the first game often could. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Also press the hype button. I'm really curious what it does. Bye bye!